This is the second in the series of Shakespeare movie adaptations. In this video, I would like to introduce another movie adaptation of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Based on a novel titled Ophelia, written by Lisa Klein in 2006, and movie Ophelia, released in 2018, directed by Claire McCarthy. The novel Ophelia is itself a variation of the original play by Shakespeare, which means that the movie Ophelia had two sources to work with. As the title of the movie suggests, the audience gets a chance to see Hamlet from Ophelia's perspective. I would like to advise the viewers to start the movie Ophelia as the protagonist herself invites us to do, at the prologue, that it is high time she told her story herself. The movie begins with a prequel to Shakespeare's Hamlet, where we see the childhood of Ophelia and Hamlet. Although in the original play by Shakespeare, Ophelia's father Polonius is a courtier, in the movie Ophelia, her family is depicted as of common birth. Having no mother to care for her, Ophelia grows up with her brother, like a tomboy looking dirty. This means that we get to see King Hamlet alive before he is poisoned by his brother Claudius. There are many inserts and changes to the plot. Even the ending is unexpected, and therefore we need to go beyond reading between the lines, where all possibilities can be considered as probable. Ophelia grows up in court as one of Queen Gertrude's ladies-in-waiting, but due to her common background, she is not close to other ladies-in-waiting and finds her sanctuary outside the court where she can be alone. She is always happy when she is bathing in the nearby river. The most surprising twist and revelation will be the relationship between Ophelia and Gertrude. They are much closer than in the original play, with Gertrude sharing secrets with Ophelia. There are complicated additions that are weaved into the movie to fit the plots of the original play. The love story between Ophelia and Hamlet is much deeper and intimate, where Hamlet proposes to Ophelia, and Ophelia, who is unhappy in the complicated court life, falls in love with him too and decides to marry him. The two has to marry in secrecy due to class difference, and for those who might know Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, there are plenty of reminders of Juliet in the movie. When Hamlet finds out the truth about his father's death after his marriage to Ophelia, he becomes outraged and swears vengeance. As we already know Hamlet's answer to his soliloquy, to be or not to be, which will end in tragedy, for Ophelia, she chose to be and devises a plan. Ophelia first goes mad with the famous lines of flowers, rosemary for remembrance, pansies for thoughts, and then decides to take poison, which will revive her back to life in a couple of days, another reminder of Romeo and Juliet. This means that Ophelia does not really die, as in Shakespeare's play Hamlet, but she fakes her death, or she fakes a suicide, and instead she disguises herself and goes to find Hamlet. When she finds him at last, she asks one last time to go away with her, and tells him that not every fight has to end in a battle. Sadly, Hamlet will always be Hamlet, and Ophelia bids goodbye to him. As she turns away from Elsinore, we are presented with a bloodbath. Ophelia is by then with Hamlet's child, and instead of giving up and committing suicide, she chooses to live and start another life for herself and for her unborn child. It is indeed a very far-fetching story from the original, but as I have said before, this is another version of adaptation, where so much creativity and additions and discussions are invited, proving yet again on Shakespeare's timelessness. As the movie ends, we see Ophelia walking up the hill with her daughter and hears a voiceover one last time. You may think you know my story. Many have told it. It is long passed into history, into myth. I have seen more heaven and hell than most people dream of. But I was always a willful girl, and followed my heart and spoke my mind, and it is high time I should tell you my story, myself.